Okay, Bill. Good afternoon, everybody. Appreciate you coming out and covering this story. We have 8.1 million open jobs across this country right now. 8.1 million, that's 500,000 more jobs than we've ever had open before, a record going back to 2018. Sat down, done over 20 town halls, visited with hundreds, maybe thousands of business owners. Their number one concern, the number one challenge for the economy now is getting people to come back to work. In the state of Kansas, they have a maximum of a $500 per week state benefit, and then we're adding the $300 from the federal government, $800 a week. That comes out to about a $40,000 a year job. And then if you have a spouse, maybe they're getting another $40,000 a year as well. That's $20 an hour in case you haven't done the math yet. And just frankly, there's a lot of jobs that weren't paying as much of that. I've talked to multiple owners. They've raised the wages 10%, 20%, and even paying child care workers to come back so we have child care so people can go back to work. They're just being paid more to stay at home. I also wanted to share, though, that I have some empathy and concern about some of the other challenges for America. It's not just about decreasing the unemployment insurance. There's also other issues that we can face as well. And one of them is just making sure all of our kids are back in school. I used to sign a paycheck for 300 nurses. And if one of those kids was sick and they had to go home, it was a huge problem for the rest of the hospital. So I understand that we need kids back in school, and we need definitive leadership from the White House and the CDC. They're very ambiguous. They need to be very clear that it's safe for kids to go back to school. The next thing I hear about is child care. Once upon a time, we were living 1,500 miles from our nearest relative. I was an obstetrics resident working 100 hours a week. My wife was a neonatal intensive care nurse working 12-hour shifts. We had a 1-year-old and a 4-year-old. I think even after 37 years of marriage, my wife and I would say child care was still the toughest challenge that we've ever had. Solving child care at the federal level, very, very difficult. I know that some of the folks up here have tried to help with that. We doubled the tax credit for child care back in the 2017 Republican-led tax cuts bill as well. The other thing we've tried to focus on the ag committees is making sure there's extra nutritious opportunities for preschool kids, breakfast for children at school, backpacks to go home with the weekend. So there's things we can do at the federal level, but I'm proud of those people back home trying to solve this problem on their own. One great example, Salina, Kansas, the YMCA hooking up with local business owners. Other folks forming co-ops for their child care. So that's a hard nut to crack from the federal level, but I certainly have empathy towards that challenge. Next question I hear about people concerned is they don't have the training for the jobs that are out there. Listen, move to Kansas. We got the best community colleges, technical colleges in the world. In 2 years, we'll have you a job making $50,000 or $60,000 a year. The cost of living is inexpensive, and we'll get you a part-time job as well. What else is going on? I think this is the last one I want to talk about, why people aren't going back to work. They're living in fear. They're anxious. The biggest mental health crisis I've ever seen in some 30 years as a physician is going on right now. And part of the challenge right now is the message from the national meeting is a message of fear and doom. We need White House leadership. We need CDC leadership to step forward and to truly lead. It's time to take the mask off. We need our president, we need Dr. Fauci to take their mask off. If you've had the vaccine, it's 95% effective. 99% of the people will never be even hospitalized if they're exposed to the virus. So the vaccines work, but people don't have confidence because they're seeing the leadership live in fear and the national media playing that fear card. So we need leadership as well. Our bill that we've introduced will help solve part of the problem. It's going to pay people more to go to work than to stay home. These other issues need to be addressed as well. That's what's challenging our economy right now. Thanks for being here.